year's Big 12 conference play season, where Kansas State upset then number 16 Cincinnati 70-67. They have Coleman Hawkins back in the starting lineup tonight, and that's a big boost for the Wildcats. He's been out the last 3 games for an injury. Him and Doug McDaniel combined for 37 points in the win against Cincinnati earlier this year.
Hawkins is so important for Jerome Tang because he's the one guy that can attract the double team and then do something about it because he's such a terrific passer.
Here is Doug McDaniel, step back 3 with the shot clock winding down. Cincinnati is 17-12 on the season in their red uniforms tonight. Simas Lukosius, one of the 4 seniors honored before tonight's game. He's their sharpshooter. He's in the backcourt with Day-Day Thomas and Jizzle James. Flips it inside to the Texas transfer, Dylan Mitchell. Turnaround with the left hand, comes up short. And we mentioned Coleman Hawkins back in the lineup. Doug McDaniel, David Gasson, and the sharpshooter Brendan Hawson, who is first in the Big 12 in 3-point attempts and makes per game this year for Jerome Tang's squad as Gasson gets the bucket. Kansas State, I mentioned, they've been up and down. They're 14-15 overall. They're coming off a win against Colorado, but prior to that had lost 4 in a row. They've had some big-time wins this year against Arizona, Kansas, Iowa State, and West Virginia. Cincinnati is 17-12, currently part of the next 4 out group, according to Joe Lunardi. Technically 5 spots away from being into the NCAA tournament as they throw away the ball there. And Tim, as we have a turnover here on a carry by Coleman Hawkins, what are your keys to the game for Kansas State?
Now, Kansas State absolutely has to create some havoc. They forced turnovers in the first game, 15 by Cincinnati, and offensive balance. Hawkins so important to that balance that he's back in the lineup. They'll run things through him. Hawkins averages 11.7 rebounds this year. How about for the Bearcats? Well, you mentioned Eric. Doug McDaniel was outstanding up in Manhattan. They have to control him and glass the transition. Cincinnati's much better when they're playing at a fast pace. Here's Day-Day Thomas. Mid-range jumper is good. He's coming off a 19-point performance in the loss against Houston. And boy, he's been a spark. 7 of his last 9 games, averaging 13 or more points per game. Well, when he was on the floor against Houston, they were plus 11, but he got into some deep foul trouble, which really hurt Cincinnati. They had a great effort in their last game against Houston, but were hurt by Thomas' foul trouble. They lost that one on the road, 74-63. They're 4-3 in their last 7 games, including a key win against Baylor. As that 3-pointer misses badly from Max Jones, the transfer from Division II Tampa, as Jerome Tang in his 3rd season with Kansas State. I mentioned a really up and down season. They've had some long winning streaks, but I mentioned the most recent 4-game losing streak kind of taking them out of NCAA tournament consideration. The losing streak, no doubt, coinciding with some of the injury problems to Hawkins. He's so important to them with what they do on the offensive end of the floor. Lukosius in the corner. The box out underneath by David Gasson. This is the penultimate regular season game for both of these 2 teams as Doug McDaniel gets the lay-in. Cincinnati has 1 more game on the road against Oklahoma State. Kansas State finishes their regular season against Iowa State before the Big 12 tournament in Kansas City. Day-Day Thomas. Eric, you're already seeing what Hawkins can do for K-State. He brings the ball up the floor. He loosens the pressure for guys on the perimeter like McDaniel and Hassan. There is Hawkins on the dribble. Draws a double team. Good ball movement by the Wildcats. Austin was disrupted. Loose ball. Tracked down by Max Jones in the corner. Threw it away. A careless pass by Jones. He didn't have to do that. And from the deep corner to the other side of the floor. Jizzle James, excuse me, at the free throw circle. Offensive rebound. James will get another crack at it. This time goes to the rim and finishes. Well, that's the problem for K-State tonight. They've got to be at least efficient on the backboards. They're not very good. They're not a very good rebounding team, especially in conference -4. Cincinnati's not great, but whoever dominates the boards tonight might put themselves in the best position to win. Gasson caught midair. Max Jones comes up short on the 3. Another offensive rebound for the Wildcats.
Long shots, long rebounds. Here's the corner three. Hassan rims out. Third try on this possession for Kansas State, and Hassan comes up short again.
Hassan frustrated a little bit early. He's had some clean looks. Usually he knocks those down.
It's 0 for 3 from deep. Here's Day Thomas, and he makes a triple for Cincinnati.
Off the miss by Hassan. K-State never got organized defensively. They got back in transition and prevented the layup or the easy bucket, but never matched up, and Cincinnati found the open man.
First three-pointer made by either team. Dylan Mitchell, a really good perimeter defender, working on Hawkins, who kicked it out of bounds. And turnover number 3 on Kansas State.
Cincinnati off and running early, and this is what they need to do.
This season, ranked in the top 15 in the non-conference. And really, that loss to Kansas State to start conference play at the end of December. It's kind of a shock to the system, and it took almost the entire month of January for the Bearcats to find their footing again. And you mentioned it, but have been digging out of a hole ever since.
We know this league is very unforgiving, and that was the problem. I think if they let that loss haunt them, because losing on the road to K-State is nothing to be ashamed of, for sure. And it was a close game, and Hawkins and McDaniel had huge games. And noted tonight, Hawkins looks a little rusty, and I think Jerome Tang sees that, takes him out of the game early just to kind of get his breath and get a little bit more in groove after being out.
Hawkins had a double-double in that first game with Cincinnati. Cincinnati had 15 turnovers in that one, as Bandego gets a turnover there off his own leg out of bounds, as Bandego, Skillings, and Josh Reed come in off the bench during the timeout for Wes Miller.
Cincinnati's got the guards cooking. They got Jizzle James, Day Thomas playing at a high level. They need Dan Skillings to play up to his capability. There's no doubt about it. I mean, he's been up and down all season long, and they need him to be that next guy who can go get some buckets.
18 points in the first meeting with Kansas State, but over the last 3 games, just 5 points per game, averaging 18 minutes per, way down from where he was playing in the mid-30 minutes per game earlier in conference play this year. Low on the shot clock, 1 to shoot. McDaniel hits the 3.
Good job by McDaniel, just kind of running the team. Hawkins is not on the floor. He's obviously when he turned his game around, that's when Kansas State started playing better in the league.
Ends a 3-minute scoring drought for Kansas State. They're now 1 for 6 from 3 as Day Thomas, mid-range jumper for him. 7 points on 3 of 4 shooting for Day.
It's a lost art, Eric, the mid-range game, but no one does it better than the guards of Cincinnati, Thomas and James.
Daniel stops and pops. Skillings flying in for the rebound. Backdoor cut from Bandego. 1-foot jumper from Skillings comes up short.
That's the offense that Wes Miller does not like to see, is same side offense, 2 guys involved, quick shot.
Loose ball out of bounds, and right now both teams struggling to hang on to the basketball. Talked about Wes Miller and his offense coach. First half of the Big 12 season, they were averaging 59 points per game. The second half of the Big 12 conference season, they've been averaging 75 points per game. Big reason why, the lineup shift, moving Day Thomas into a starting role. They've gotten a lot more offensive firepower and consistency with him in the lineup.
It's always, if you have 2 good point guards, you need to use them. That's what they've done, and they've used them efficiently. That's why that last possession was kind of a wasted one. Skillings dribbling up the side of the floor, and Thomas or James not even touching the ball.
James, crossover. Good job, C.J. Jones staying with him. Jizzle, over his last 6 games, averaging 17 field goal attempts per game. His volume has gone way up as the Bearcats have needed to rely on him more and more offensively. Tyler Betsy, the star freshman, high recruit, into the game. Windsor, Connecticut, high school player of the year 2 years in a row. Dylan Mitchell, 5 on the shot clock. Nice touch by Dylan Mitchell.
That's a good job by Mitchell, and that's where he needs to make his money down there. He's got to mix and match his game a little bit more. Sometimes he floats on the perimeter, but he is a tough out. He's got great footwork, that length around the rim to finish.
Turnover. Skillings jumped the passing lane. Takes it up strong, but missed the layup short.
Good job by K-State on the recovery after the turnover to make that a difficult attempt by Skillings.
2.5-minute drought for the Kansas State offense. C.J. Jones cutting across the lane. Good rim protection by the Cincinnati defense.
Both teams really doing a good job guarding. Every shot has been pretty much contested and one and done for K-State.
Cincinnati 3rd in the league scoring defense. Opponents averaging just 65 points per game this year against Cincinnati. Deep 3, Jizzle James off the mark.
Cincinnati not getting that ball and player movement that's needed with proper spacing.
Kansas State 1 for their last 8. They've also turned the ball over 5 times. They go inside to Hawkins. Back to the basket against the freshman Betsy. And the loose ball corralled by Cincinnati. Skillings spinning. Finishing off the glass.
Now that's the Dan Skillings that the Cincinnati fans know well of when he is playing at a high level. That's what he can do. You saw the steal in transition. He didn't finish, but that time a good take to the rim.
I think that's been part of the frustration for some fans is aggressive plays like that have been few and far between this year. All the fans know of Skillings' talent and capability, just sometimes he isn't as aggressive as they want him to be. C.J. Jones for 3. As Kansas State now 1 for 8 from deep. James, no look. Mitchell will go to the free throw line.
Dude, it seemed like a really good bunch that like each other. Sometimes it doesn't click soon enough, but they figured it out right now, and just I would not want to play them in the Big 12 tournament. They are a dangerous. I mean, they gave Houston all they wanted over the weekend, and that gives you enough fuel to say we can win some games in Kansas City.
No doubt about it. Arrington Page checking into the game for the first time for Cincinnati during the timeout. 9 minutes to go in the first half here at Fifth Third Arena. Eric Rothman, Tim Welsh. Big 12 on ESPN+. It's Coleman Hawkins trying to get going. Missed 3 games in a row with an injury. Back out there tonight in the starting lineup. A step back 3 for him. As Hawkins still scoreless, and now Kansas State 1 for 9 from deep. As 9 of their 15 field goal attempts have been from 3. Good turnaround jumper from Arrington Page, the transfer from USC, and it's an 8-0 run for Cincinnati.
That's way too easy, though. They let Page just catch that ball right next to the basket, and really no resistance.
Kansas State shooting just 20% from the floor.
Well, Coleman Hawkins moving pretty well. I'm watching him move out there on the floor as Jones hits the nice little shot in the middle of the floor. But just when you don't play for a couple weeks, you have automatic rust, and I think he's just trying to wear that off. So I think eventually tonight he'll get going.
He's got that big knee brace on his right leg as well. It can't be easy to move with that thing on. It's another turnover on Kansas State, number 6 on them.
Kind of unforced as well. Right now they're out of sync on the offensive end.
Average 12 turnovers a game, so already halfway there. Still in the first half. A Thomas in his bag. Step back 3. Thomas already with 7 points here in the first half, looking for more. Another quick turnover as the Kansas State offense not in sync at all. A 15-9 lead for the Bearcats with 7:30 to go. Advance to that second round game on the 12th.
Right, because those first round games normally and most likely will not help you. They can only hurt you if you lose. But see, it's right there for Cincinnati as James just blows by right to the rim. Good body control as well, but Cincinnati's going to have to do some damage. Obviously, it's right there in front of them. If they play to West Virginia and then possibly a Texas Tech, they get a couple wins in those games, then they have an opportunity. As does TCU. They're still alive as well.
Now on the floor, largest lead of the game for Cincinnati. You see the speed of Jizzle James on the last one.
Now, Jizzle says he got hit there, but just tremendous body control. You cannot let him get to his right hand. I mean, he's very good going to the left as well, but you have to force him that way because that's where he's most effective going right.
Cimas Lukosius picked up his first foul. Not a ton of whistles here in the first half. 2 team fouls on Kansas State, 1 on Cincinnati. Kansas State has turned the ball over 7 times already. Gasson. Good defense by Bandego on the low post.
Now, Cincinnati, no tricks right now on the defensive end of the floor. Just solid, stay in front of your man, guard your yard, and contest and rebound.
Yeah, the numbers are showing that defense is working. Kansas State 1 for their last 8 from the floor.
I mean, this is just rock solid defense, and we've seen this pretty much all night long. Just shoot over a contested hand, then block out and go.
Thomas lost the ball. Oh, they're going to call a foul on Kansas State. Gasson. No, excuse me. I thought it's a different number 1. It's on Day Thomas. So Day Thomas had it knocked loose, went over the timeline, and then got called for the foul after the turnover.
Well, I don't know.
That's a foul right there on Gasson.
That's a foul, but they didn't call it that one, I don't believe, unless it was...
No, they called it on Thomas, which I didn't see in that replay.
Unless it was a delay. But that's what happens when officials make a long-distance call.
Greg Nixon, the referee, was on the opposite side of the court. Nixon, James Duke, and Chance Moore, the 3 officials tonight. 5 on the shot clock for McDaniel in the free throw circle. Doug McDaniel is up to 7 points.
Well, he's got to get a little more aggressive. He has not touched the ball very much, but when he has, good things have happened. He's the one guy that can break the defense down off the bounce.
Transferred over after 2 years at Michigan. Defense now by the Wildcats. Under 10 to shoot for Cincinnati. Lukosius scoreless until now.
Well, K-State's defense has been solid as well, and that was a good move by Lukosius down in the box, but problem is down here, and they need McDaniel to get going. And a little bit over-relying on Hawkins early, and he's trying to get himself back into the rhythm.
Kansas State has made 2 of their last 3 after missing 6 in a row. Under 5.5 minutes to go in a very fast-paced first half. As McDaniel had a lane just too strong. And on the offensive rebound, Max Jones picked up the loose ball and hit the 3. Just the second 3-pointer made for Kansas State in 10 attempts.
A good kick out, that's the thing. You're going to get your open looks if you get to the glass and pitch it back out. Turnover
on the handoff from Bandego to James, and now Day Thomas is going to pick up his 2nd foul.
Well, Cincinnati mix and matches their offense. When they go inside, this is when they're effective, where they can draw the defense and use the size of Lukosius and company. We saw Mitchell go inside earlier, and the inside-out game, this is how you're going to find the open 3s.
Max Jones, the 3 there. Spent a couple years at Cal State Fullerton, a couple years at Division II Tampa before transferring to Kansas State. He has over 1,600 career points over his 3 stops. Kansas State snapped a 4-game losing streak in their most recent game, a win against Colorado. Seven to shoot as McDaniel backpedals. Jones calling for it, steps into a 3. Gets his own rebound and a reset for Kansas State with 4.5 minutes to play.
They kind of just froze and looked at the ball. They were in good position, but no one went after it.
Kansas State +4. The rebounding margin so far.
They've had a lot of rebounds to go get, as their shooting percentage has been very poor.
28% from the floor. That will help. A high percentage shot there from David Gasson, who's up to 4 points now.
Good job on the pick and roll, and Cincinnati just a little late on the rotation, and Gasson, when he gets the ball down there, usually he finishes.
Lukosius broke free. Cincinnati now just 1 of 7 from deep. Gasson with a head of steam. Good ball reversal. Cincinnati there to cut it off, though.
Good closeouts on the weak side by Cincinnati.
Daniel, mismatch against Bandego. Now Gasson. A lot of passing. Max Jones missing the 3. Loose ball picked up by Cincinnati.
Can't ask for anything else than that, Jerome Tang, except to finish the play.
Josh Reed calling for it. The high arcing 3 is too strong. Skilling's on the offensive glass, and he's fouled.
Same page as Jerome Tang, and they'll tell you that inside the program, and that's just a huge error by K-State on the baseline out. Castillo just turned his head, but you know, once McDaniel got on the same page, and then Hawkins felt acclimated, things started to click for them, and then of course Hawkins' injury really hurt them in the last couple weeks.
Hawkins missed 3 games, back out there today, but he's scoreless with 3 minutes to go in the first half. That's a deep 3 from Hawkins to get himself on the board.
Well, Jerome Tang's done a nice job of putting him in, taking him out, getting him a little rest, and we thought at watching this game early that he was a little rusty, but you play yourself off the rust, and this is what Hawkins is doing right now.
K-State has made 5 of their last 9 after starting the game 3 for 15 from the floor. They're within 2. Cincinnati's led by as many as 8. One to shoot for the freshman Tyler Betsy. Off the top of the backboard and into the hands of Hawkins, who now has 4 rebounds for Kansas State. Even Castillo coming off the bench, freshman from Oklahoma. Chisel James quickly the other way. Ball knocked around. Cincinnati had a couple cracks at it. James in the middle of the passing lane there will stay with Kansas State. 1:45 to go here in the half.
Yeah, good things happen when Coleman Hawkins has the ball in his hand. Usually it's an assist, or it's the hockey assist. One to the next pass after leads to good things. He's got such great vision for a guy his size, and just has a great pace to his game. He seems like he's starting to get back into the flow a little bit, and as they do, Jerome's using a little bit on the outside to start this game, but they will put him down in the low post, and if he doesn't draw the double, he'll look to go to score.
Hawkins leads the team in assists, steals, blocks, and minutes this year, and is in second in rebounding as he takes the ball on the deck that time. 5 points now for Hawkins, who's starting to heat up.
Pretty good defense by Mitchell as well.
Tied the game up at 21, and Bandego was fouled going up underneath. Kansas State nipping at the heels of the Bearcats here late in the first half.
Skillings has played a pretty solid floor game, and the coaches and him for getting his confidence back a little bit after those 3 games that you spoke about, where he just didn't live up to what they need him to do.
Last 3 games for Skillings, just 5 points per game. And you see Aziz Bandego getting his first point of the night, free throw line. Good rim protector. 7-footer from Senegal, played some time at Utah Valley and Akron.
Improved free throw shooter as well. It's pretty confident out at the line.
Skillings went for the steal, missed it. Now numbers for Kansas State. Austin driving, trying to draw a whistle.
Austin passed up a look from the top. Usually he doesn't pass that up. Not sure where his confidence is tonight.
Averages 12 per game does Brendan Hawson. He's now 0 for 4 in this one. Mitchell, kick out, Reed in the corner, quick trigger off the mark. Batted around, here's Hassan. Double pumps, and he'll go to the free throw line.
Wes Miller thought this was a clean block, and Hassan did a good job because he saw Mitchell coming after him, and how do you shoot over that? But really nothing there. Just Hassan through the elbow.
Yeah, you're right.
That's the problem sometimes when you have officials that just anticipate that it's going to be a foul without actually watching the play.
So a bad call benefiting Kansas State with 46 seconds to go. And you see Hassan, known as the Amarillo Assassin, shooting 40% from three-point range this year. That's good for second in the Big 12 as Skillings is tripped up. A foul on Max Jones.
Jerome doesn't like that one. Coming up the floor now, Skillings. Jones kind of tripped. It's one of those, well, both were a little out of control.
So 1 point lead for Cincinnati. Sixth team foul called on Kansas State. Kocius will inbound for the Bearcats. Skillings, great out of bounds play by Cincinnati. The second time that Dan Skillings has gotten a bucket off a baseline inbound.
I mean, that's just a quick flash. There's no screen even set. It's beyond me how K-State has given up 2 of those. I mean, that's really disturbing if you're Jerome Tang, how that happens, and he's not happy either.
Coach Tang takes a timeout.
He's asking Max Jones, how did simple flash like a face cut? I'm cutting in front of you. You must jump to the ball and get in front of your man. Man, you ball. That's like the old days. I know
the bubble. .20 seconds to go. Shot clock turned off. Kansas State can tie. Heading into the locker room down by 3 right now. Seven seconds to go. Gasson drives, rejected by Dylan Mitchell. And that'll end the half. And Cincinnati will cling to a 3-point lead heading into the locker room.
They saw that in the first 8 minutes. They had 7 turnovers. But the last first 12 minutes, but then the last 8 minutes of the first half, they did not turn over. And if they get back into a rhythm, Cincinnati's going to have their work cut out for them because Hawkins is such a special player.
These two teams have already played with Kansas State winning by 3 at home. Mitchell traveled. Wes Miller's team led by as many as 8 points in that first half, but really poor 3-point shooting, 1 for 9. Didn't help their cause at all, and Kansas State winning the rebounding battle as well, +4 in the margin there. Pick and roll. Swing pass, 10 on the shot clock. Max Jones missing the 3. Jones now 1 of 6 from 3-point range, a 38% 3-point shooter on the season.
Those are good looks for Jones, too. Everyone's pretty much been clean from the perimeter.
Dago gets the lob from James. Shaken up on the dunk attempt there. Cincinnati retains possession. A Thomas floater, no. Third chance for Cincinnati. And Dago is there with the one-hand tip slam.
After the rainbow jumper by Reed, nobody put a body on Dago.
David Gasson, 6 points now, leads the conference field goal percentage, averaging 62% from the floor. It's 3 of 5 here in this one. Reed fading away, not a great shot.
Good job by Brendan Hassan, just staying with Reed.
Gasson, there's a wild drive, lost the handle. Hassan for 3. He's now 0 for 4 from deep.
Usually he makes those with his eyes closed. Shot seems a little not confident tonight, and then no matchup by K-State as the ball gets swung.
Dede Thomas gets the assist. Sees Bandego. Gasson knocked off his line, and he will shoot a pair.
Good job by Cincinnati spacing the court, and here on the pick and roll, they double the ball. No one rotates on the backside. Good look. Easy as it gets.
One thing I've noticed defensively for Cincinnati, coach, is that whenever Hawkins gets the ball in the perimeter, Cincinnati is trying to push him out as far as possible. And he's getting really frustrated not being able to square up to the basket and find either a passing lane or a shooting lane. Cincinnati's done a good job disrupting him.
Well, they're doing a very good job with that as well, and I think they're testing him to see if he can put the ball on the deck, because normally if he does catch it out there, he can blow by you, but he seems like still he's trying to catch his wind, he's trying to catch his rhythm after being out for 4 games.
And he's still running rather gingerly. Again, a big knee brace on the right leg of Coleman Hawkins, coming back after missing 3 games. But you're right, not a lot of dribble drives in his arsenal tonight. James swarmed in the corner, finds Bandego. Mitchell against Hawkins. Mitchell fading away.
That's a tough shot over Hawkins, fading away with Hawkins in your face.
Jones squeezes the pass on the baseline. Daniel just kind of heaves one up. Josh Reed stayed with him the whole way.
Excellent defense by Cincinnati, and now they've got numbers.
It's Dylan Mitchell who misses with the left hand. And Cincinnati can't take advantage, but a whistle will go against Kansas State.
A forced shot by McDaniel, and then good save by Reed, and then a quick outlet. K-State kind of froze and didn't sprint back and match up.
Second foul on Coleman Hawkins. Mitchell now 0 for 3 from the free throw line. Not a ton of free throws for either team so far. Kansas State 3 for 4. Cincinnati 2 for 5.
Well, Mitchell's got to make that, though, the first one. He's got to make the layup. He had a clean look at the rim and kind of short-armed it.
Mitchell just not a good free throw shooter. 43% on the season, now 0 for 4 here in this one. 3-point advantage for Cincinnati. C.J. Jones to Max Jones. And a turnover. Careless pass from Hawkins. Thomas. Didn't seem like he really had control of the ball, but gets bailed out with a whistle there. Max Jones called for his second.
It's a loose pass by Coleman Hawkins, and you see the carry first and then the foul.
8 turnovers on Kansas State, 5 on Cincinnati. Son, brief stint on the bench is over. Dago, muscle in underneath, finds some real estate, finds a bucket.
Well, that was a really good move by Bandego. He had nowhere to go. I thought K-State would pinch down on him, maybe trap him, because he was in no man's land underneath the backboard, but he just backed up freely, made it happen.
Dago's got 8 points now to lead scoring for Cincinnati. Hawkins backing his way in. Good move underneath. Patience from Coleman Hawkins, who's got 7.
Sorry, Eric. I think that's where he needs to go. He needs to go move inside first, then move back out because he is really good down low.
We talked about his inability to dribble penetration with the knee issue, but if you just plant yourself down there, you can still make a good post move.
Well, and then if he does draw the double, that's when he is very effective finding the open man.
Just 4 assists per game as Day-Day Thomas reigns in a 3 for Cincinnati, just their 2nd triple as a team in 11 attempts.
McDaniel respected his ability to get into the gap and shoot that mid-range shot, that he backed up just enough.
Day-Day's got 10 points now. He's got both of Cincinnati's made 3s. Gasson throws it away. Turnover number 10 on number 9 on Kansas State.
But obviously, it's late. It's getting late early around here, as my friend Yogi used to say. But opportunity still awaits, and this is a key moment right now for them.
Josh Reed, the air ball. Bandego missing, blocked from behind, and a late whistle comes in against Kansas State. Josh Reed really struggling, 0 for 5 from the floor in this one.
Tang not happy with the call by way of telegraph.
It's called on David Gasson. That's his 2nd. So now Gasson, Max Jones, and Coleman Hawkins all with 2 fouls.
Sometimes the officials dig deep in their pocket and say they hold the whistle, wait to see if it goes in.
Yeah.
Seemed to be the case there.
That's going to be a lane violation. Josh Reed and David Gasson were jousting underneath before Bandego let it go. They're going to say that Reed committed the lane violation. Some pressure, full court from Cincinnati. Cautious on Jones.
Coleman Hawkins ran the baseline. Should not have been allowed to run the baseline there after that violation.
Hawkins posting up, pushed out to the elbow. Hawkins going right at Josh Reed. Cincinnati going the other way. Thomas knocked loose, out of bounds, turnover.
Everyone's having a choppy night tonight, except you, Eric, of course.
Oh, well, thank you.
The offense, the defense, the dribbling, the officials. Sometimes it just, everything is not in sync.
6 minutes into this 2nd half. Eric Rothman, Tim Wells here with you. Cincinnati on top 35-28 at home here at Fifth Third Arena, their final home game of the year. Senior night for the Bearcats. One of their key seniors, Simas Lukosius, who's on the floor, has been very quiet in this one. Max Jones continues to fire away for the Wildcats. He's got 7 now.
Good mid-range game by Jones. He's missed a ton from the outside, but still effective mid-range.
Day-Day Thomas on the baseline. Thomas leads all scorers with 10. Double figures in his last 6 games. Gasson cutting inside and one.
Now there you see the effectiveness of the 2 bigs for K-State. And Coleman Hawkins plays like a guard, even though he's 6'10", and the ability to see the floor. You've got to keep that pressure on him. Cincinnati's done a good job all night long. You mentioned it, Eric, about taking his dribble drives away, but also when you pressure him hard, it takes away some passing angles in the vision. That time they laid off him a little bit. Gasson, he does such a good job of moving and cutting without the basketball.
Really good passing team. Gasson can't convert. Whistle underneath against Cincinnati. And that might be foul number 3 on Aziz Bandego. Back-to-back whistles go against Aziz. Well, actually, I think it was a lane violation. So not a foul, but a lane violation on Bandego. Gasson will get another crack at it. And missed them both. Two chances to convert the three-point play to David Gasson. A 59% free throw shooter, missed them both. 3-point ball game, 13 minutes to go here in regulation. Lukosius swarm. He has just not had any opportunities in this game. 2 points on 1 of 3 shooting. 5 on the shot clock for Jizzle. James now. James fading away. Hawkins fights for the rebound. Hawkins, Euro step on that bum knee. Max Jones crosses over Bandago, goes up with the left and converts.
That's just good footwork, toughness, and the ability to finish in traffic by Jones. Had his head up the whole time. He knew what he wanted it to do.
6-0 run for Kansas State, and they're within a point.
K-State's defense has been rock solid here in the last few possessions, just not allowing any clean looks from outside or in the mid-range game.
5 to shoot. Late in the shot clock again for Cincinnati. McDaniel strips it away from Jizzle James. Hawkins on the run, up and in, and Kansas State takes the lead under 12 minutes to go. Time.
A lot of guys shutting it down at this point in the season because they're afraid of their status, they want a medical redshirt, whatever. It's a different world out there today with guys getting paid with NIL, but Coleman Hawkins is out there basically on one leg and starting to really help K-State.
First lead for Kansas. First lead for Kansas State since it was 4-2. 3 minutes into the ball game. As the miss by Tyler Betsy goes out of bounds.
Intelligence, toughness, and just everybody thrives off him handling the ball and just being on the court.
4 years at Illinois before transferring to Kansas State this year as the Wildcats on an 8-0 run. So we're near the midway point of the second half. Inside to Hawkins. Boots it out of bounds. Turnover number 10 on Kansas State.
Good job by Lukosius there defensively because Hawkins was trying to take him, but he just slid his feet, put the ball out in front of him, a little loose with the ball.
Cincinnati just 4 for 14 from the floor here in the second half, and it's a 3.5-minute drought for their offense right now. Jizzle flips it up with the left hand. Soft touch off the glass.
Well, that is a soft touch and a great left and the ability to change directions.
Hawkins calling for it on the kick out from McDaniel. Cincinnati up by 1. Half-court set here from Cincinnati. James, three-pointer short. Cincinnati 2 for 14 from 3.
Good job by McDaniel on the contest.
C.J. Jones gets his first bucket. Transfer from University of Illinois, Chicago.
Quick first step, and a lot of guys tonight using that mid-range with a lot of effectiveness.
James, it's stripped away. Gasson the other way. Muscles it up and in. A lot of contact, no whistle for David Gasson, who's got 12 points to lead the Wildcats.
They're letting it go a little bit on both ends. I like it, as long as it's clean, even both ways. That was a good play by Gasson. Just such body control in transition for a big.
12-2 run for Kansas State. Lukosius slips inside, untouched.
Well, that's when Cincinnati's at its best, when they're changing sides of the floor, a little bit more movement off the ball instead of one-on-one moves without moving and changing sides of the floor.
Max Jones fading away. Loose ball. Gasson double, triple pumping and finishing. He's got 14.
It was a good job defensively by Skillings, but Cincinnati did drop down on the weak side and help on the glass.
Gasson has 20 or more points in 2 of his last 3 games, creeping up to that 20-point milestone. And another turnover on Jizzle James and an immediate foul as Doug McDaniel took the ball away.
Well, Gasson's done it in a lot of different ways tonight. And here, just a little slight push off on Mitchell. Mitchell doesn't do a good job of holding him off, and he catches the ball there. It's high percentage.
Clear path foul. McDaniel hit the free throws.
This is the second time tonight. A little back and forth with McDaniel and James. It's a very good matchup at the point, but James tries to cross over, and he's very effective with that. But he's put the ball right in front of McDaniel twice that he's just swiped it right out of his mitts.
Pair of free throws on the flagrant foul. Kansas State will retain possession on top by 5. It's their largest lead of the game, and they've got it with 8:35 to play here in regulation. Gasson just saves it from going out of bounds after the bad pass by Hawkins. Five to shoot. McDaniel pulls the trigger. Skillings to his left. Underneath and to the free throw line he goes.
That was a good job by Skillings. He isolated on the weak side of the floor, and a bailout by K-State, though. He was out of control. They just shoved him there, came off from the weak side, and Hawkins didn't need to foul him there.
Actually called foul on Max Jones. I thought it was Hawkins. Came across the arms of Skillings, but it's Max Jones who picks up his 3rd personal. And they go back into the game for Cincinnati. Skillings has 7, and Cincinnati's back within 4. Cincinnati led nearly the entire first half, now playing from behind. McDaniel, he'll get a good screen by Hawkins, but nobody there on the pick and roll. Reed stripped and fouled. That's going to be 4 fouls on Max Jones.
Doug McDaniel just kind of threw the ball, anticipating Hawkins was going to roll to the basket to get to this level of improvement.
Well, he's first in the conference in field goal percentage this year. He's 4th in offensive rebounding. He's got 20 or more points in 2 of his last 3 games. And more importantly for Kansas State, who is down nearly the entire first half, 10 of his 14 points tonight have come here in this second half. And they've got a lead on the road against Cincinnati.
Well, he's done it in a lot of different ways. They don't run any plays for him. Basically, he pick and roll a little bit. He'll find a little space in the middle of the floor, but he cuts without the ball. He finds that open gap and never forces the issue.
Floater there from Doug McDaniel. Kansas State shooting nearly 60% from the floor here in the second half.
K-State has played a very, very smart game in the half court. Taking their time, their space in the court. They're waiting for Cincinnati to make the smallest of mistakes, and they're taking advantage on the offensive end.
If Dede Thomas can get the Bearcats rolling. Dede. Mid-range is good. 12 points for Dede Thomas.
And that was a good possession by Cincinnati. When they take their time, that's when they most often get good looks on the offensive end, which has been hard because K-State has played very good defense.
Daniel trying to give it right back to Dede Thomas. Went off the glass, popped out of bounds.
A little bit of a force by McDaniel, but that's his play. He loves the glass. He's kind of an old school player in that regard, and Tang does not mind him being aggressive because most of the time good things happen.
Well, usually Doug Daniel, really good facilitator for this team. He averages 5 assists per game this year. He's had 10 or more assists twice. This game tonight, just 2 assists. He shot the ball a lot, 4 of 11 from the floor. As Josh Reed gets his first bucket after going 0 for 5 to start the game.
A good job by Reed. He took a lot of jumpers in the first half, but he's very effective going off his left hand to the rim.
Hawkins going in reverse. The turnaround not there. Reed in the corner.
He shoots that rainbow three. They look like they're going in. Great release, but he hasn't been found the bounce yet tonight.
McDaniel blocked by Day Thomas. It's going to stay with Kansas State.
Now this is where Josh Reed can be really effective. He's got some size on Hassan. He just takes him off the bounce, and the help comes late.
3 points for Reed. You mentioned three-point struggles. He's 0 for 5 from deep. And a couple that have lipped out just like the last one. 5:36 to play. Eric Rothman, Tim Welsh here at Fifth Third Arena. Good feed inside, baseline out of bound conversion, and David Gasson has 16 points.
K-State giving Cincinnati a little dose of their own medicine. That's what they did to them twice in the first half. Just a simple face cut, easy bucket off a baseline out.
Gasson 7 of 9 from the floor for the guy who leads the conference in field goal percentage. Wild shot from Dylan Mitchell.
Oh, good cut to the open area by Mitchell, but he never got on balance.
Under 5 minutes to play. Go inside. Sweet touch. David Gasson's got 18.
That contingent there as you might expect. And they've got good players, and they've proven they can beat pretty much anybody in this league. So Jerome Tang is still pushing the right buttons down the finish for this team.
No doubt about it. You look at marquee wins compared to Cincinnati. I mean, the Wildcats have beat Arizona, Kansas, Iowa State, West Virginia. Cincinnati doesn't have nearly those quad one victories that Kansas State has this year. Cincinnati much better in the net ranking at 40 compared to 82 for Kansas State. Daniel weaving his way inside, then jumps back outside the free throw circle and hits the long two.
But just smart offense by McDaniel. Just using Gasson in the middle of the floor as a little two-man game. They flooded the other side of the court, and just he was able to operate pretty freely.
James uses the shoulder to bump off his defender. Jizzle's got 8 points. Cincinnati trailing by 5. Time running down. 3:38 to play.
Cincinnati's got to get grittier now down this end. They're playing a little bit too loose on defense. They've got to get up on McDaniel, put a body on Gasson, and don't let Hawkins free up down in the low box.
Reed's been guarding Hawkins all game long. Now it's McDaniel with the left hand. Loose ball. Lukosius out with it for the Bearcats. Inside Bandego. Puts the ball on the deck and rejected by Coleman Hawkins.
Well, that was a good footwork by Bandego, but better defense by Hawkins. He never went for the fake.
Hawkins dueling with Josh Reed, and he threw it out of bounds. 12 turnovers on Kansas State. Cincinnati has 10. Game here at home, 2:57 to go. At Fifth Third Arena, Eric Rothman, Tim Welsh back here with you. Big 12 basketball on ESPN+. Cincinnati's got to get something going offensively.
They do. Their defense has been a little grittier the last couple possessions, but too much one-on-one, force issue inside. Not enough on-balance looks. Can free up Thomas a little bit off a high screen.
Instead, they go into Bandego. Nobody around him. Reed. The defense by Hawkins as he was cutting across the lane. 2.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, they gave the ball to Bandego. He's in no man's land. He can't do anything with it right there. But give K-State credit, though. Their defense, no gambling. Just keep the man in front of you, contest, block out, rebound.
Josh Reed just 1 of 8 from the floor in this game. Hawkins, he'll drive baseline, 4 to shoot, fading away off the good knee. And still limping as he goes up and down the floor. Here's Jizzle James working on C.J. Jones. Hesitates midair.
He needs to do that. That's what they need. They need to move the ball a little side to side and let James do his work.
Third. Kansas State basketball, 1:39 to go. Hassan straight away, bricks the 3.
Hawkins was waiting for a little bit of movement. Everybody stood and watched as he held the ball on that wing. They need to move without the ball. He'll find the open man.
Day-Day cutting across the free throw line. Tough shot. Jizzle James tracks down the offensive rebound. Jizzle, three-pointer. Bandego the offensive rebound. Trying to keep it in bounds, and he does. And now a timeout taken by Cincinnati as these refs letting them play to tell the Bearcats, hey, we've got more time than we thought.
Well, if they had 18 seconds, there's no doubt he would not have called a timeout there. So that's unfortunate for them.
Jizzle James lost it, got it back, missed the running layup, and it'll be Kansas State basketball.
Well, you're not going to get any much better than that. James just kind of had his head down. I don't think he looked up at the rim until he was almost below the rim or below the board, so he had a bad angle to finish the play.
Kansas State's been scoreless for nearly 3.5 minutes, but over that stretch, Cincinnati has gone 1 for 7 from the floor. Press break here for the Wildcats. 40 seconds to go, a difference of 15 seconds between the game clock and the shot clock. Cincinnati has fouls to give. Right now, time just trickling away.
Well, obviously, not sure why they gave the foul there, because now they're going to get the reset. There was no reason to foul at all. Just play solid defense. You're going to get the ball back with plenty of time to get a 3 or a quick 2 and then a foul again.
28 seconds to go, and the shot clock resets to 20. They try to swarm Hassan, and they foul him. That's now the 5th team foul on Cincinnati. 23 seconds to go. Still just a 1-possession game.
The problem is they fouled on the first possession. Now the clock resets again. Now they're going to end up putting him on the line where they did not have to put him on the line or foul. Just play the defense, play the possession out defensively.
Bandego picks up his 4th foul. 22 seconds left. 6 team fouls on Cincinnati. The next will send Kansas State to the free throw line with their 5 of 7 as a team tonight. Whistle before the inbound. It's on Day-Day Thomas. Wes Miller did not want that at all. You don't even get a chance to steal the inbound, and you put Kansas State at the free throw line. It'll be Hassan, an 83% free throw shooter. Shoot the 1 and 1.
Yeah, they held him off the ball. They were trying to get him the ball. Give K-State a ton of credit. They were running the play to get Hassan the ball, and they held him away from the ball, put him on the line.
Cincinnati out of timeouts. Kansas State in the bonus. The Wildcats do have a foul to give. Now up by 5. 22 seconds to go. Cincinnati's got to move. Lukosius for 3. 10 seconds remain. And Kansas State will go back to the free throw line.
Well, that's the way it's been tonight for Cincinnati. Some good, clean looks, and another one by Lukosius just halfway down and just couldn't go down. But, you know, both these teams have not sparkled in Big 12 play defensively, but tonight both teams have done a really good job of contesting, and K-State down the stretch not allowing second chance opportunities for Cincinnati.
Fifth foul on Aziz Bandego. Cincinnati shooting just 33% in this second half. They led by as many as 8 in the first half. Kansas State, they got a 5-point lead. They haven't had a field goal in the last 4 minutes. Son at the free throw line, a 59% free throw shooter. Ten seconds to go. Cincinnati down by 5. Reed lost it, throws up a 3. Nearly banked it in. And Hawkins throws it across the court as the siren sounds. And a road victory for Kansas State here in Cincinnati, 50.